Alright, I'm sitting at home right now, and basically I'm hearing a lot of buzz about Comic-Con this year. I didn't go to Comic-Con because I was just have a little bit too much on my plate, but I've been following a lot of the previews, at least for stuff I'm interested in, which if as far as geekdom goes, I'd like to think I'm up there, but anyway, I'm just gonna talk about some of the panels that interested me and basically give my 2 cents. First off, Batman Arkham Origins. This I have mixed feelings about. I mean, basically, I have a wait-and-see attitude towards this, and I'll tell you why. I love the first two games in the series, Batman Arkham Asylum and Batman Arkham City. I mean, honestly, they're the greatest comic book games I ever played. I mean, no exaggeration there. They're really that good. But this one, it's a prequel, which already kind of disappointed me. I mean, I was hoping they would kind of expand on the ending to Arkham City. I mean, I'm not saying the Joker has to be the bad guy again, but I mean, that was one of the major reasons I was kind of disappointed with Harley Quinn's Revenge, is because they botched up the effect it has on Batman and really what they can do with that dramatically. But this one's a prequel. I mean, it's the younger days of Batman, and the villain is Black Mask. Already, I'm just kind of because personally, I was never a fan of Black Mask as a character. I mean, I don't know what it was about him, but he just didn't really seem as iconic or as memorable as a lot of Batman's other villains. I mean, when you think of Batman villains, you think of guys like Two-Face, the Joker, Mr. Freeze, the Penguin. All of these guys who have been done well in terms of crafting a dramatic story around them, mostly in Batman the Animated Series. But the thing with Black Mask is that he really is just kind of a mobster, at least in the stories I've read. I mean, when I think of Black Mask, the only really major thing I've seen him do is kill Stephanie Brown. And that was in Batman War Games, which was a crappy Batman story anyway, but I digress. He's the villain of the game, okay, but he's not the only villain. I mean, basically, the other villain they're really wanting you to pay attention to is Deathstroke, which Deathstroke has shown up a lot recently. I mean, in Teen Titans, in what was it? The two DC games by NetherRealm, the Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe and Injustice, Gods Among Us. So he's shown up there, and he's showing up here. So apparently you get to play as Deathstroke if you pre-order the game, but like I said, I have a wait-and-see attitude towards it. Another thing that is kind of steering me against this initially is they changed the voice actors. In the back of my mind, I kind of knew that Mark Hamill wouldn't be voicing the Joker again. I mean, he said after Arkham City he's done. I mean, he's retired from voicing the Joker. I mean, he doesn't want the character to get old. I mean, he doesn't really think he's going to be able to top himself after Arkham City, which I can respect that. So the new Joker they got is Troy Baker, who I just heard about recently. I mean, he's a very prolific voice actor. But the thing is, up until recently, he's only voiced the most significant character he voiced, at least in the stuff that I'm interested in, is Snow from Final Fantasy, and I hate Snow. But after playing The Last of Us and hearing his performance as Joel, and in addition, kind of hearing his, let's just say, Mark Hamill impression in the trailer for Arkham Origins, I'm kind of enthusiastic about him. I mean, you can tell it's not Mark Hamill, but at the same time, I can deal with him not being Mark Hamill in this, partially because it's a prequel and partially because the Joker has been done well, not only with other screen actors, but with other voice actors, like Under the Red Hood when he was voiced by Bender from Futurama. He was fantastic as the Joker. I mean, wow. And even Richard Epcar in the NetherRealm games is not that bad. I mean, he's gotten better. He's not my favorite by a long shot, but I've seen some good replacement Jokers before, so I'm willing to give Troy Baker a chance, especially considering his recent resume. The other thing that really drove me off was the fact that Kevin Conroy was not going to be voicing Batman. That kind of worries me. I mean, I get that it's a prequel, but he's voiced all kinds of renditions of Batman. I mean, young or otherwise. I mean, he's been voicing Batman for more than 20 years at this point. And even he said on his Twitter, like, I'm working on the next Arkham game. So I guess that means the next Arkham game for Rocksteady, which they haven't really announced yet. But Batman is going to be voiced by Roger Craig Smith, I think his name is, who's voiced Captain America, which kind of made me groan. He's voiced Captain America in a variety of Marvel TV series. And probably what really somewhat got me on his side was the fact that he voiced Ezio in Assassin's Creed. And Ezio probably is the best lead in that series. I mean, not only because of the voice work, but because he's the best written. I mean, he's the most likable. We see him go through the most investing emotional journey. And if you kind of imagine Ezio with an American accent, I mean, just try to imagine that. I can kind of see him maturing into an older Kevin Conroy Batman that we see in the previous Arkham games. So, as for the voice acting, basically the voice acting along with everything else, I have a wait-and-see attitude towards. I mean, I know people who are immediately dismissing this game as basically being a knockoff. Like, Rocksteady didn't make it, it's being developed by this new studio. And I get it, but like I said, I'm gonna wait and see. I've seen relatively new studios pick up franchises before, and it's been really good. I mean, the most recent example for me has been Sly Cooper Thieves in Time. That was fantastic. I actually like that better than what Sucker Punch is doing now with its infamous games. But yeah, Arkham Origins. They say the world is going to be twice as large, or I've seen a map of the world that they want to make. I mean, it's basically the entirety of Arkham City, and across a bridge there's a completely new section of the city that you can explore and go around in. Apparently, they say the world that you get to explore is so big that you need to fly the Batwing. You don't actually get to fly it. You go to these kind of points on the map and call the Batwing and select where you want to go in the city. You know. So I'm a little disappointed that you don't get to fly the Batwing, but the fact that they're marketing this as a huge world has me both excited and a little worried, because Arkham City was not, just the sheer scope of it was not the biggest open world I've ever seen. Not by a long shot. I mean, compared to a lot of other popular ones like Red Dead, and a lot of other Rockstar games, it was pretty small in comparison. But the thing was, it didn't need to be that big because the amount of detail that they put into every aspect of it. And not only that, you can go underground. There was a series of underground networks. I mean, with these Batman games, size doesn't really concern me so much as the detail the care they put into the nooks and crannies. I mean, anyone can. I shouldn't say anyone, but I've seen games with huge open worlds that have just bored me to tears because there's no detail in the world. There's nothing unique about the world. I mean, if you want a fairly big world to explore, but nothing really noteworthy about it, play Spider-Man Web of Shadows. I mean, or any of the open world Spider-Man games, really, or particularly the later open world Spider-Man games, because New York City, all the buildings look the same in those games, or the majority of the buildings look the same. There's nothing unique about them. So that's what kind of worries me about like, oh, we're gonna make a world that's twice as big or 5 times as big. I'm just like, okay, how's it gonna look? So hopefully they'll do right by the framework of the previous games, because those first 2 Arkham games were fantastic. I mean, honestly, I'm not holding my breath for it. I mean, I'm not going to sit there and say, oh, it's going to be crap, because there's a good chance that it might be good. But at the same time, there really are no guarantees in my book. I mean, if Rocksteady is making it, then you can pretty much guarantee that it's going to be good, unless they get really lazy. But Rocksteady doesn't really seem like the type of people that would get lazy. I mean, it's like Naughty Dog. Naughty Dog has not made a bad game in years, if ever. So if Naughty Dog is making a game, you can basically guarantee that it's going to be good. So yeah, that's basically all I have on Arkham Origins. I hope it's good, but I'm certainly not going in nearly as excited as I was for the first 2 games for a variety of reasons, but I still plan on picking it up. I mean, yeah, the trailers look alright. I mean, the gameplay basically looks like it's supposed to. It looks like the other games. But like I said, it all comes down to a wait and see attitude with me. So yeah.